So today we're going to dive into the story of a king who did everything right up until he didn't. His name was Amaziah of Judah. And his story, man, it's this timeless warning about how success itself can become the biggest trap of all.
You know, this one line from the Biblical Chronicles really just nails the whole puzzle of King Amaziah. He did what was right, but not with a perfect heart. I mean, think about that. On the outside, he looked like a model king, but inside, something was just off.
And that really is the question we're going to chew on today, isn't it? What happens when there's a massive gap between our actions and what's really going on in our hearts? I mean, that's a struggle that's just as real today as it was thousands of years ago.
Okay, Section 1, A King's Divided Heart. Let's get into it and unpack what it really means to do good, but, badly.
You know, there's actually a modern term for this: compartmentalization. It's this ability to act one way, to check all the right boxes, while you keep your heart, your real self, totally separate and untouched. And apparently, Amaziah was a master of it.
A really great way to think about this is to imagine these upright, trustworthy farmers from a generation or two ago. These were good people, the kind of guys whose word was their bond. You could absolutely count on them. But when it came to their faith, well, that was their own business. Their hearts were kept separate. It just shows how this divided nature can look in any era.
All right, so let's move on. Because what's so fascinating here is that Amaziah's reign, it starts off looking amazing. I mean, in his early days, he looks like the perfect, obedient king.
So he grabs the reins of power and brings his father's assassins to justice, but then he does something really specific. He spares their kids. And on the surface, you're thinking, wow, that's textbook. He's following the law perfectly.
And this is what's so wild. It shows he knew the law. He's quoting it directly from the law of Moses. He knew exactly what was right, and he did it. And that little detail, that correctness, is what makes everything that happens next so shocking.
Okay, to really get to the bottom of Amaziah's fatal flaw, we have to tackle a really important idea: this difference between God's punishment and just the natural consequences of your actions.
And right away, you're probably seeing what looks like a huge contradiction in the scripture, right? On one hand, it says everyone dies for their own sin. But then another part says God punishes kids for what their parents did. So which one is it?
It's not really a contradiction. It's more of a nuance. The idea here is that God can forgive your sin, absolutely. But your actions, they still have real-world consequences. It's like if you plant a bad seed, your kids are going to have to deal with the bad fruit. It's not God punishing them, it's just cause and effect.
And here's the beautiful flip side to that. The consequences of sin might last a few generations, but the ripple effects of love, of doing the right thing, those can go on for thousands. It's this powerful principle of legacy, a principle Amaziah is about to throw right out the window.
All right, Section 4. This is where it all goes wrong. This is the turning point, where the success God gave to Amaziah goes straight to his head. So God hands him this huge, massive military victory over the Edomites. And just like that, Amaziah feels like he's on top of the world, invincible. And that's when he makes a fatal mistake. He stops trusting God and starts trusting himself.
So after this epic win, what's the one thing Amaziah doesn't do? Yeah, he doesn't ask God what to do next. He's so full of himself, he just assumes this success gives him a blank check to do whatever he wants. So what does he do? He picks a fight with the king of Israel, who is way, way more powerful.
And the king of Israel's response is just, wow. It's this incredible, poetic, and absolutely brutal takedown. I mean, it's got to be one of the greatest insults in the entire Bible. The message here is crystal clear. Amaziah's kingdom, Judah, it's a thistle, a scrawny, thorny little weed. And Israel, it's a mighty cedar of Lebanon, a giant, towering tree. They were smaller, poorer, weaker. This whole challenge wasn't some brave act. It was just pure, blinding arrogance.
And that brings us to our last section, the trap of success. This is where it all comes crashing down. And Amaziah finally has to pay the price for that divided heart.
And the results were just a total disaster. His army gets wiped out, he's captured, the walls of his own capital city, Jerusalem, are torn down. The temple and the palace are completely looted. All that gold and silver, gone. His pride didn't just hurt him, it led to total national humiliation. His final years are just sad. He's captured, and even though he lives for another 15 years after his captor dies, We don't really know what that looked like. Was he in prison? Was he just living in disgrace in his own kingdom? We don't know. But what we do know is that in the end, he doesn't die some hero's death. He gets assassinated by his own people. And this quote, this really is the bottom line, isn't it? The lesson of his entire life. He mistook God's patience, God's blessings, for a stamp of approval on his behavior. He just presumed on that kindness. And in the end, his own success became the very trap that destroyed him.
And that's why this ancient story is such a powerful warning for us today. It really leaves us with a question we got to ask ourselves. When does our own success become a trap? When do we start to believe we've outgrown the very principles that got us there in the first place?